HR, people skill is the most important thing for any CEOs. How can I persuade a person with a blank sheet of paper to quit their job, take a lower salary, and work for this vision? How? Pretty tough, man.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate quality. Every successful CEOs, all very good at that. You have to be able to tell a story well. That's extremely important. Okay. So, welcome everyone to the episode 4 of Are You Lost? I was in your shoes. And today we had a very special guest, Vlad. I couldn't say your full name.
It's okay.
How do you say your full name?
Vladislav.
Vladislav.
Yeah.
Last name is?
Borisenko.
That's such a cool name, man. He's a Russian that was raised in Bangkok, Thailand. And we had very, very similar background in a way. Because I was an intern almost 10 years ago at the company you're working for right now.
Yep.
Can you introduce a little bit about yourself, to the audience and then to everyone at home?
I'm currently 25. I came to Thailand when I was 9 with my family. My family is still here. I do speak Thai a bit. Currently, I am working with the company for 4.5 years total, including the internship itself. I hold sort of 2 positions. So one is the financial controller, and the second position is head of business development. When I started, that was just an internship for 4 months. 3.5, 4 months.
Yep.
And my studies were related to finance, and I'm actually passionate about finance. Don't get me wrong. This is like I have that already kind of ticked in my notebook. Okay. I was like, okay, I want to do finance. So I did the internship, and then I got offered a job as a business intelligence manager. It's been only 3 months, and then I got promoted to financial controller straight away because the company was in need of someone who knows finance or who can help with managing finance. So 2 years ago when the COVID happened, I got promoted, if I can put it this way, to a head of business development. Okay. While maintaining as a financial controller as well. Okay. But the thing is that responsibilities and workload, my responsibility shifted to 40-60, where 40 will be finance and 60 will be business development, because it will be not only working with clients, but also with agencies, trying to reach out to new partners, trying to establish new connections, The thing is that it's been 2 years and the COVID, obviously. The feeling that I have is that I am in the position of stagnation.
Stagnation in what way?
In the professional development. Okay. The problem that I'm facing is that I'm not growing. So I always try to evaluate myself in terms of like employability on the market. Am I in line? Am I behind? Do I need to work on something? Do I need to get certain skills, or something that I need to more in deep? First of all, was it my mistake to take 2 heads?
No, not at all. I think you shouldn't even think about if it was a mistake, because that's a sunk cost, right? If you understand finance, sunk cost, the person that you have become today would not have been possible if that had never happened, right? So finance is a very broad topic, right? When you said your passion is finance, what do you actually mean? Like, where do you see yourself on
the finance scale?
Yes.
Definitely, maybe accounting is not something that I would want to pursue if you would put it under finance. Yep. I still do it. I mean, it's my daily routine.
Because I would imagine that if you're a finance guy for AIP, most of the stuff you do should be accounting.
So that's also one of the questions, because I also feel that I'm 25 now. I know.
You're a baby.
Yeah, you're a baby. Exactly. So I feel like I'm 25. But at this time, at this particular moment, I feel like it is important for me to sort of make a decision. Yes. What way?
I think you're actually in the position that you can actually do that. You're 25. You can do anything you want right now. Crazy to think, like when you're 35, 45, that's when you actually have responsibilities, like, I don't know, mortgages or kids, school loans, school payments to pay, tuitions. But now you have none of that. I mean, you can literally take the most risk possible now. The fun part of finance is when accounting ends, right? Yep. It's when you do all these crazy models, and that's when you work for a bank. You get to serve multiple clients because the clients that come to you are the ones that looking to raise capital. That is more of a consulting side. But there's also a buyer side. A buyer side would be private equity. You're able to value a company because you're buying it. That is more finance heavy, I would think. But if you're working for a finance at a corporate and you're doing finance for one company, it gets pretty dry over time, right? Because when you're at a bank or at a PE, you get to look at multiple books. Here, you're on one book month after month, year after year. So that's why I question to say, when you said your passion is finance, then why do you stick with one company for 4 years?
That's a good question. Because
it's the exact opposite.
That's the thing. So I don't know. I guess I was sort of in a comfort zone. When I was in uni, I was thinking of, okay, I need to secure the job, and that's a number one thing.
Okay.
Obviously, as a foreigner, also in Thailand, that you need to, to be able to live here.
You have a work visa?
Yeah, work permit. Also.
Okay, work permit. So it does it rely on the current company?
Yes. So once you attach,
so that's the problem, right? That's what you're scared of. If you actually make that leap of faith, saying that you want to pursue other opportunity, you have how long to find before finding?
Definitely, that's the place where I'm comfortable, and I mean, I'm familiar with the place. I really like the culture, the environment, the food, and everything else. I mean, I live here since 9. Come on, right? I mean, if I would want to leave, I would leave earlier. But at least like next 5 years, I don't see me moving anywhere.
Do you have any friends that are working at a bank, IB, or doing PE, VC? Any friends?
You say I do have friends
that are in like the deep finance space.
Yes.
Are you hanging out with them?
Not for the recent period of time.
Okay. What I would do, because that's what I did, is really try to get yourself into that network. Because your network is ultimately your net worth in a way, and who you will become, it depends on who you hang out with every day. If you want to be a finance guy, I would get myself into the network in a way. Force yourself, find a way, find a friend's a friend. Oh, where are you going this weekend? Can I join? Anything. What I do usually is just like, I shoot them DMs, LinkedIn, IG, whatever it is. I say, hey, do you have 15 minutes? I just want to talk to you real quick to understand the experience and so on. I would force myself into that network every day, every weekend. I would try to hang out with those guys, really do understand what are the expectations. That's number one. And two, you also get to learn about the culture. Is that who you want to become? Because when you get your face familiar, not going straight up, be like, can I have a job? People hate that,
the last strange.
Correct. And the last thing those guys want is having someone on a table that just want to take something from them, right? So you have to be genuine in a way. You have to offer value. Maybe it's a good friendship, a lot, like buying them a cup of beer or anything, like having a good conversation. Try to fit yourself into the network without like asking for something, right? And then over time, you can start talking your way in a way. However, finance in Bangkok isn't a very big industry. That is something that I also want you to be aware of. It's SET isn't very big. IB isn't big here. There are not that many M&A activities. There are not that many, right? In general, when you say finance is your passion, I really want you to elaborate a little bit more in terms of 5 to 10 years. Where do you want to be? Is it private equity? Is it a hedge fund? Is it running a company you're running, that you're the CFO of a company? Is it that you're running a company that's your own? Like, what is it?
I would say starting my own business. And I will elaborate more about my passion.
Is that for CERN?
Yeah.
For CERN?
Yeah.
Then bank's not for you.
Okay.
They'll tell you right now, then you shouldn't be networking with bankers.
Okay. I feel that, again, it comes from my background as well, partially. So I felt that a lot of people, unfortunately, at least that surrounds me, are not that familiar with understanding of either personal finance or finance in general. The reason why I studied finance and the reason why I want to pursue it is not really because I want to become a hedge fund manager or, for example, a private equity manager or whatever. It's more about, I want to make sure that, and I think a lot of companies and SMEs specifically, or startups, are lacking it because they have this great idea and maybe they have a tech guy, a great marketer. The product is scalable. They have no worries. The idea is great. They raise it, and then it just gone. And then they shut down because, you know, the management, there was no finance person who would manage the funds properly or manage the internal books properly.
Yep.
I thought that, okay, I know that you can't do everything by yourself, right? But then if I would start my own business, I would like myself to take the position of this finance person, while I would find someone else who would be my partners or whatsoever as a marketer, as a idea creator, or does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. At the end, it's starting your own business, right? Why don't you start it tomorrow? What is it that you're missing?
I would say I miss an understanding of how it works. For example, since the company never raised any capital, I don't know, okay, I'll start my company. The hell am I gonna do? That was the whole purpose of me going to work for someone in order to learn.
You're looking at experience. You're thinking that you want to find a job that's gonna give you the experience of starting a business, right? To at least have the courage, or at least know what you need to do, in a way, when you're starting a business. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
I'll break the ice. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as you get a job and that job will teach you exactly how to start a business. That doesn't exist. You learn the most when you actually just do it. Okay, I want to work for this bank, so this bank can teach me how to manage the finances of a startup. No banks would teach you that. But if you work for a bank, all they have you do is just Excel sheets and decks. You won't be able to actually make decisions for until you reach like VP, which is like 10, 15 years from now. Or if you work for a company as a finance controller, you just focus on that particular finance. For a big company, if it's a big company, you just focus on like maybe account receivable for 3 years.
Yeah.
No experience will teach you how to run a company. Period.
But do you feel that maybe some of the experience that you've been getting, let's say in Deloitte, for example, that you somehow utilized in your
for sure.
So that was pretty
for sure, but it didn't teach me everything.
You know, yeah, that
and I learned way more. Like I maybe learned a little bit from Deloitte, but I learned this much from having my own business. It's just the mistakes I made. The days I was like, fuck, I'll run out of money next month. What should I do now? Should I cut costs? Should I cram up the discount? How to get more net working capital in? It's those kind of moments that will make you feel, oh, what should I do? Because as a CEO, it's not always about the finance. I'm telling you, it's good with finance is good, but that's only one spectrum of the whole puzzle. It's the product, the service, right? At the end of the day, you can have great pricing, great finance. You can manage your EBITDA very, very well. But if there's no cash flow coming in, there's no revenue to even start with, you have no finance. Finance only start when you have revenue. When you have no revenue, you have no finance. So if you want to start a business, first step is, how do I get revenue? Because revenue means customers said, I want that. And they pay you, and they spend their hard-earned money for that particular product or service. That means revenue. So the first step is, what's your product? Are you actually offering a competitive or service or product that it's much better than your alternative? Is it in an industry that doesn't exist in Thailand? Or is it in a very saturated industry, but your service is a lot better, right? First, you have to figure that out. Finance comes after. I'm telling you, when you run a company as a CEO or as a founder of a company, you will spend 99% of your time talking to customers, trying to sell your product.
Makes sense.
It's not going to be, how do I do this model for the fundraising? You just maybe spend 5% of your time to 1%. Because most of the people that spend way too much time fundraising are the ones that don't focus enough on the product and services, and they actually ignore the customer quite a bit. So starting a business, you will not get you more finance experience. I'm telling you straight up right now. That won't exist if you start a business. When you start a business, that's the last thing you will have to worry about. So you really have this. These are two different paths.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to give up finance, but you're gonna have to accept that you're not gonna get a lot of finance experience, like hardcore technical experience. You're not going to get that. But what you're going to get is you got to get a lot of people skill as a founder, because you're going to have to talk to your customers. You're going to have to try to motivate your staff to want to work with you. You're going to have to find ways to attract good people to believe in your vision, to want to work with you. That is the most important skill set of any CEO. My opinion, finance is mostly bullshit in a way, right? Right? Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong. Beta, you know beta, right? A beta, right? It tells of volatility between this particular company versus the market. Is a made up number. CAPM, the cost of equity, right? It's the risk premium, the risk free is a made up number. WACC, weighted average cost of capital, because it includes the beta and it includes the cost of equity, is a made up number. In reality, these are just terms that the bank use to make you feel you don't know anything. But in fact, they don't even know it either. They just made this shit up to make them seem that they're technical. In actuality, these are all fucking made up numbers. It makes no sense. When the beta you use is 5 years from now, but 10 years forward, it has nothing. It's not going to be the same like the 5 years has passed, right? So finance is all bullshit. I'm telling you, and I'm a finance background. That's why they fucking lost in the Tesla trade, because they know nothing about what a company actually do. They think fundamentals all that matters, but they're not listening to customers. A beta is not going to tell you anything.
Makes sense.
If you want to start a business, I'm telling you, just do it. But of course, you need to figure out the work permit thing, right? Because it's a little more tricky for you. If you can figure that out, then you'll have to, you need to make sure your personal finance is okay. I think the finance skill that you're talking about, you're going to need that for yourself.
For myself first, You
need to be prepared. 3, 4, 5 years, no income whatsoever, or minimum 10K maybe per month. Are you prepared to make the sacrifices? You know, it's going to be hard to take your girlfriends to nice dates. It's going to be hard to go see your friends sometime, right? It's going to be hard to have vacations. I would live with my parents. Don't have to pay any rents, right? But are you prepared to make that sacrifice? That's involved with starting a business. But if it's finance, it's different. Then it's about networking, getting to the loop. But that will never get you to being a business owner.
Makes sense, Appreciate. Maybe one thing that I figured out so far from our conversation is that for me, finance was more of a means in order to, as a tool. I was seeing it as my passion to finance was not really a passion to finance as a finance, as an industry, but it's more of like some sort of competence in accounting field that I needed to, to kind of calm myself down in order to have enough courage to start something by myself.
And it's important, man. I'm telling you, accounting is so important to run any business. If you don't know accounting, you cannot run a business. But if you're already good at that, I think look forward to other facets of your skill sets, such as HR. It's exceptionally important. If you're a CEO, when you have nothing, you're gonna try to convince this guy to want to work for me by just playing words. Just offering inspiration in general with nothing, right? No slideshow, no backdrop, no office. Just telling this guy, work with me. Let's change the world. If you can actually inspire that person, that skill set, that's important. It's called storytelling. If you can make smart people want to work with you, you're going to be a very good CEO.
Do you think doing something parallel at the first time, for the first period of time, will be something that you would recommend?
Yes. I think it depends on, there are two. One answer itself, if starting a business is the goal, right? There are two ways. One is just do it. Two is to find an entrepreneur and try to do whatever it takes. That entrepreneur that you look up to, and that's great, and do whatever it takes to be as close to him as possible. To see what does he do every day? What are his incentives and what are the motivations? Like, how does he make decisions? And that's the other way. And then money, it's like it's irrelevant here, right? You're doing this. I mean, if you get paid, great, but the pay isn't the point, right? The main goal, right? The main goal is to really just be next to him the whole time.
Okay.
Or to just do it. Those are the two ways. You know, finding that courage is important, right? To make that leap. But you would never know like what's on the other side until you make that leap. You know, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's gonna be eye-opening. But you should start surrounding yourself with the people that you want to become. I think that's number one step. And that has nothing to do with connection. That has nothing to do with connections because most of the connections are dog shit anyway. Find a person that you actually want to become or find out one person that you actually want to be like, man, like I want to work with this guy. DM that motherfucker days in, days out. If he doesn't accept your DM the next guy. Maybe the 40th guy will answer your DM. Work for that guy for a little bit. So now you have on your resume that you work for the 40th guy, so you can go on the 20th guy the next 5 months, and then you can eventually get to that guy, right? There is a roadmap, right? Yeah.
Did you have anyone when you started your, let's say, entrepreneurship?
No.
You didn't have anyone to look up?
I didn't have a mentor. I mean, a mentor is it depends on your luck, right? It's not everyone that has a mentor. It's it's a luck thing. And if you have one, great for you. I didn't have one. I just did it, man. I didn't care about pride. I'm a kind of guy that I don't like brainstorming theories, ideas. I like to just do it. Like for example, if the meetings people talk about, oh, what we should do next, and I think this would be great, that would be great, this would be great, which alternative you think is the best? I would do all three. I'll just go do it. I mean, they talk about, oh, I need a team to talk to client, to have a sales team. I would say, no, I'll take a Grab right now to the office building next to me. I'll just knock on every single door. The one word that I fucking hate, and I still don't do to this very day, it's my weakness in a way, but it's also my strength, plan. I hate that fucking word. Plan. Let's plan it. Let's plan. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss about it. Fucking just do it, man. Honestly, right? Yeah. It means my weakness also. I don't plan stuff often because I just do them. But for you, if you're more structured, more organized in a way, maybe you want to look for an opportunity to work with an entrepreneur close up. That could be a way. But banking is not for you. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
That's something we definitely discovered.
If you want to start a business, banking will get you nowhere. Banking is the opposite of starting a business. Gotcha. Because all they do is just the opposite of innovation. Makes sense. Because the industry itself is not innovating. Of course, figure out the finances. You have to find the right people, right? But at the end of the day, do not fall into the trap of thinking that, oh, I need to find this guy before I started. Because if you're desperate, you're not going to find this guy. Yeah. Or you're going to find a very bad guy because you're desperate. So if there's no one in mind, I would say just do it your own first.
I would say that from the discussion overall, I would say that there are a few things that I definitely will take, into not just consideration. I mean, consideration is planning pretty much. So I'll just take it. I'll just execute on it. Consideration.
Have you ever heard me say, I'll consider it? No. I just say yes or no all the time.
It's like yes or yeah. I mean, I'll think about it because there are different factors involved.
Of course,
but it's not really, and some factors are not. I would say not really about the feelings that I have. Right, it's actually a physical presence in Thailand, for example, etc., etc. But definitely, my top one will be surround yourself with people that you want to be associated with. Correct. In a way that you definitely will learn from them. Yes. By imitating or whatever, by just being with them, trying to be like them. And the second one, I would say that will be to really stop overthinking. And I would still consider, I would still think of trying, at least for a short period of time, trying to find someone, as a parallel maybe to my employment, to my full-time, someone that I'll work for free for whatever, like 3-4 months. I just want to see, because I want to see how the business works. I want to see how the specific person set it up in his own or her own company. And it's not like I'm expecting to give me a worldwide wisdom, but just by looking at stuff like a case study sort of thing.
Yeah, sure.
That's just for a bit of a time, and then, you know, again, fixing up the finances and stuff.
I'll tell you this, man. A CEO's most important quality isn't how he set up a company or anything. It's just his charisma. Why do people want to work for him? Because at the end of the day, a CEO is not supposed to do everything.
Yeah.
Can't do everything. But CEO's job is to make sure that everyone is happy with what they're doing and is communicating. HR, people skill, is the most important thing for any CEOs. How can I persuade a person with a blank sheet of paper to quit their job, take a lower salary, and work for this vision? How?
Yeah.
It's pretty tough, man.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the ultimate quality. Every successful CEOs are all very good at that. You have to be able to tell a story well.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely important.
I appreciate, man. Like,
of course.
Seriously,
of course.
That was probably the more relevant than the degree. It's the degree that I've
Fuck the degree. Fuck the degree.
We can start
fuck
a new
the
podcast.
School. Fuck college. Fuck all that.
It's a big topic.
Fuck the degree.
No, because even what we're having right now, right? Even that is something that I would describe as me learning from you. Because the thing is that, okay, you might think of, okay, I would read a book, right? Okay, I might, which is a good thing, no doubts. You might think of, okay, I might listen to a podcast. Okay, gotcha. Maybe there will be similar situations to yours, but then once you're one-on-one and you're really diving into
your life,
my understanding, diving into my life and like trying to understand what is specifically is the, you know, painful point, and then you kind of strike it with your experience. That is what I'm very really respect and
I'm very happy. I'm very happy with that, and I hope today, you know, can add a little more guidance in terms of where you think you should be. I say this path to whatever you want to achieve is very similar to getting fit. You know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to go to the gym 5 times a week, 5, 6, 7 times a week. You need to eat very, very healthy. You know exactly what you need to do. There's no magic
rocket science
it's not rocket science, right? Accomplishing your goal is the same thing. You act deep down inside, man, after this conversation, I hope, you know exactly what you need to do. Just fucking do it. Deep down inside right now, I believe firmly, you know the steps.
Yeah.
Ignore all the outside noises. Fuck the consequences. Just do the steps that you know it's the right steps towards your goal. So I would start with that.
I will, and maybe we will have another talk.
Sure, we'll see.
the after a certain period of time,
for sure. But anyway, this is, I think we're a little over time in a way. I'll close. Thank you once again for joining. It means everything. I think it helps the audience quite a bit as well. I think a lot of people were in your shoes in a way. Yes, this is the end of the podcast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
My team said like and subscribe and comment and
share.
For anyone that wants to be here, you know, the pleasure will be all mine, and the pleasure will be for those that at home feeling lost the same way also. So yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.